This is the issue, and I am the ghetto man. Today's issue, the oath of office. Know the law, know your enemy. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This video is the first video in a series of shows that I call the Red Pill series, a series of shows that will address the workings of the Bill of Rights. Now, each show will deal with one of the amendments within the Bill of Rights, and when all the shows are pieced together, we'll reveal the intent of our nation's founders as well as the intent of the law. Before we address the Bill of Rights, though, I'm going to preface this series with this video called The Oath of Office. Now, the oath of office is paramount in understanding the limitations the Constitution places on a public servant. The oath plays an enormous legal responsibility on the public servant that takes it. So enormous is that responsibility that a violation of that oath is a serious crime. Okay, what is an oath anyway? Well, the definition of an oath is a solemn or holy statement or promise to tell the truth. Oath. A declaration made according to law before a competent tribunal or officer to tell the truth. Or it is the act of one who, when lawfully required to tell the truth, takes God to witness that what he says is true. Okay, now every public servant must take an oath before they start their job. And that oath goes like this. I, so-and-so, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely, and this is very important, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, which means that you have no intentions not to honor the oath, right? Then it goes on to say, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter, so help me God. When a public servant takes this oath, they are not only agreeing, under the penalty of perjury, to uphold and defend the United States Constitution, they are agreeing to obey the restrictions placed on government by the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments as well. They are agreeing that they will forever refrain from ever making any law that would infringe on the inalienable rights of the sovereign citizen. And they're doing this, quote, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. Okay, what is an inalienable right anyway? An inalienable right is a right that exists outside of the U.S. Constitution's jurisdictions. And I'm talking about things like free speech, free press, right to keep and bear arms, liberty, peaceful assembly. These are rights that exist whether there is a constitution or not. So what does it mean, quote, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion? Well, it means that the public servant is not taking the oath with the intention to evade its requirements once he or she takes the job. That's what it means. It means that the public servant isn't going to move to amend, repeal, or create any law that tampers with the restrictions placed on government by the Bill of Rights. And if that public servant does move to amend, repeal, or create any law that tampers with the restrictions placed on government by the Bill of Rights, then that public servant has violated his or her oath of office. That would be lying under oath. That would be perjury. It would be an open and notorious act of treason, plain and simple. Now today, we knowingly elect people who have no intention of keeping their oath. In most cases, their political persuasion openly promotes the overthrow of our republic long before they are elected and long before they take their oath of office. Democrats promote democracy now, don't they? Socialists promote socialism. Communists promote communism. Fascists promote fascism. Nazis promote Nazism. Out of all of these forms of government, not one of them promotes a Republican form of government as guaranteed by Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution, which states, quote, "The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government." Okay, doesn't get any clearer than that, does it? In fact, the only thing that the Democrat, Socialist, Communist, Fascist left promotes is the overthrow of our republic. How convenient. How utterly traitorous. See, when elected, these people enter public office with the sole purpose of promoting their anti-American political agenda, purposely evading their oath of office in order to further their unconstitutional political agenda. An agenda designed to destroy the United States from within. Now, this is what a traitor looks like. This is how a traitor operates. And this is what we call an inside job. This is how the enemy, the domestic enemy, infiltrates government. This is how the domestic enemy infiltrates all three branches of government. This is how the domestic enemy gains control over who will write the law, who will enforce the law, and above all, who will rule on the law. This is a crime. Title 18, United States Code, Section 1919, which states, "Whoever violates the provision of Section 7311 of Title 5, that an individual may not accept or hold position in government of the United States or the government of District of Columbia if he," and says one, this is the first one, "advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government, and two, is a member of an organization that he knows advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government, shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 1 year and 1 day or both." Unfortunately, the citizens of this country have no idea if or when a public servant is in violation of his or her oath of office. Why? Well, because most citizens in this country haven't a clue how our constitutional republic works. Most people, even if their life depended on it, couldn't identify an oath violation if it jumped up and bit right on the butt. Now, I'm going to give you a good example of this, and it's the only example I'm going to give because I think it covers all the points that are needed to understand how important the oath is and how important it is to understand the person that you're electing. What is it that they're really going to do? Are they going to honor that oath, or do they have some sort of alternative motive? And I'm going to deal with Bernie Sanders because he's really a prime example of a person who, one, advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government, and two, is a member of an organization that he knows advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government. And what's interesting about this is that no one seems to care. Okay, let's look at Section 1 here. Okay, Section 1 advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government. Well, Bernie Boy Socialist Sanders, he is an admitted socialist communist. That makes him a domestic enemy. He openly and notoriously, by the way, admits that his goal is to socialize the United States of America. Now, socializing the United States of America is advocating the overthrow of our Constitution. Sorry, Bernie, but there's no such thing as a socialist republic. See, Bernie Sanders clearly meets the criminal intent of Section 1. Why? Because he advocates the overthrow of a constitutional form of government. His political persuasion is all you need to know. Section 2 is a member of an organization that he knows advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government. Bernie Sanders is a member of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party promotes the most disgusting form of government that has ever emerged out of the mind of a reprobate, democracy. As Thomas Paine, the father of the American Revolution, so eloquently put it, quote, "A democracy is the vilest form of government there is." The Democratic Party is a cesspool of political filth. It openly promotes a witch's brew of failed political philosophies like communism, socialism, fascism, or any other ism that you can come up with. Systems of government that have failed 100% of the time and have murdered over 100 million people in the past century alone. These are Bernie Sanders' compadres, his co-conspirators, his domestic enemy buddies. Now, with that in mind, how can Bernie's socialist boy Sanders, an admitted socialist communist domestic enemy, take an oath of office to uphold and defend the United States Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, when he openly promotes the overthrow of the United States Constitution and our Republican form of government with his anti-American socialist political agenda? Do you really think he's going to honor his oath of office? Really? Okay, how about the Democratic Party? Do you really think that anyone in the Democratic Party is going to honor his or her oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and support our Republican form of government? They're Democrats. They're not going to support a Republican form of government. They tell you that every time they open their mouth. How about all of the undocumented Democrats, the rhinos, Republicans in name only, in the Republican Party? Do you really think that any of those people give a crap about honoring their oath of office? Remember Boy George, President Boy George? The Constitution is just a goddamn piece of paper. Remember that? And what about his daddy, Daddy Bush? We are going to democratize the world and bring in a new world order. How can any of these people take an oath of office to uphold and defend the United States Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, when they are the enemy? Domestic enemies. None of them can take the oath without committing perjury or treason. So, with that in mind, good old Bernie Sanders, once again, clearly meets the criminal intent of Section 2. Is a member of an organization that he knows advocates the overthrow of our constitutional form of government as well. Let's take a look at Title 18, United States Code, Section 1918. It provides penalties for violation of oath of office, which include 1, removal from office, and 2, confinement or fine. Okay, this is no laughing matter. We are talking about people who have no intention to obey the law. A public servant that violates his or her oath of office has committed a serious crime here. It's also a serious threat to the safety of our republic. If the people in this country understood constitutional law just a teeny little bit, the argument would never be whether we should or we shouldn't amend or repeal the First Amendment or any other amendment in the Bill of Rights for that matter. Instead, in knee-jerk fashion, our instant response to this traitorous suggestion should be, no, it's a violation of a public servant's oath of office to even suggest that the First Amendment be amended or repealed. It's perjury. It's treason. We told you, talking to government, we told you not to touch the Bill of Rights. And you agreed under oath that you wouldn't touch the Bill of Rights. End of argument. You know the law, and you will know your enemy. I am the Ghetto Man. Thank you for watching. If you're politically correct, then you're legally wrong. And if you're not part of the solution, then you are the problem. This video has been part of my new series called the Red Pill Series.